There we
There we
go.
go. And now I have to say, I okay. I'm
Oh,
okay with it.
we're okay. So Eva's internet went
I'm
out this
so
morning,
okay.
and my tech guy had to rush over. And anyway, blah blah blah. What a chaotic morning! Welcome to day 4. We are live. We are here. We made it in the nick of time. Actually, we're 3 minutes late, but who's counting? Thank you all, everybody who has been here for the whole week. It's been an amazing journey and an amazing week. The stories have been, I just can't even say enough. Um, for those of you that are just joining, this is day 4 of From Health to Happiness, the free online event for women, 25 women around the world sharing stories of trauma and triumph. So we are live here today with Daphne. Daphne, where are you? You're like in Spain or something, aren't you?
I'm in the south of Spain.
That's amazing. So we're here with Daphne today. Daphne, first of all, thank you so much for volunteering to share your story with us and for generously donating your time to doing this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Daphne's marriage and the emotional abuse. We actually realized it was emotional manipulation that you actually had suffered
Yeah.
during that marriage. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because I think a lot of women can really relate to this story. I think a lot of women go through that, and we don't even realize that it's actually emotional manipulation until we're out of it. And then we're like, wow, I can't believe he actually manipulated me for that. We don't even realize what's going on until we're out of the situation and go, wow, I let him do that to me. So I'm going to start and take us back to just the beginning of your relationship and how your relationship was, your marriage, and then we're going to go right into when did you start seeing the signs, and just talk us through that whole relationship, Daphne, please. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity for all of us. It's heart opening. Thank you. My marriage, we met online. We are like an online relationship started online, and it sort of developed there, and then we decided to meet each other, but we were in different places. He was from America, I'm from Europe, so we also had a time difference, but that was like we sort of got it around. We met each other, and we sort of started having a sort of online relationship already. And after that, we started meeting up. I went there, he came to the Netherlands, and then we had like every 2-3 months we met each other for 1 or 2 weeks. And then he decided he wanted to come over and start life in the Netherlands. And he just said like, I'm coming. And okay. And so he came and he stayed in the Netherlands together with me for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And then he wanted to visit his family in America. So we bought tickets for him to go there for 2 weeks. And right before that moment, the Dutch immigration service said that he was not allowed to stay. So he went to America back, and he said there, so I'm not going to take the plane back home. So he stayed in the United States. And that was when the whole green card tragic thing for me started. So we decided to get the green card for me so I could stay in the United States.
Okay.
And that took about like whole year. It was a very long, devastating, difficult process with a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of stress. And then I came to the America, and then we had to get married within 3 months for my
Oh,
part. So we
right.
had like, to get married. And so then we lived in the United States for about 4 years together.
Okay. And how was
Yeah.
your marriage after you moved there, and how was your
Well,
marriage?
well, it was different. I always said there was a different guy I had in the Netherlands than in America, and that had
Oh,
some reasons. I think the separation between the two moments, we sort of separated already, I think, or at least I was, but I didn't. That's one of the red flags I just didn't see or ignored actually more. But there were more red flags already that I think like afterwards, like, oh, fuck, why did I say yes to that, you know?
Right.
One of the things was that he always controlled our dating time online. And every day we had to meet like 3 times. So for his morning before he went to work, during his lunch break, which was actually my dinner time,
Right.
and his dinner time, which was actually my time to sleep. So he just controlled that all. And then there was always the Sunday 3-hour video chat.
Every Sunday.
Every
Always.
Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
See, yeah, that was already like, and that also sort of continued when I was living there. Then we always had his lunchtime break chat. He was like at work 5 kilometers away, but we always had to have that.
Was he afraid
Lunch
that
break.
maybe does he think that maybe you were cheating on him, or he didn't want to give you any opportunity to cheat? Like what is all that controlling
Yeah,
about?
I think he had a speck of jealousy within him.
Gotcha.
Uh, yeah, because when I was, for example, there was one moment in time, a friend of mine, she said like, yeah, I'm going to this festival Sunday. And she called me really Sunday morning. I'm going, but my husband has a bad headache and he cannot come. And I have 2 tickets and I thought of you. Can we come? So I just, hey, yeah, let's go to this festival. So I text my partner, so like, because I was in the Netherlands and was in America, and I texted him and I said to him like, "Yeah, I'm going to a festival with me with her, and we're off, and sorry, but no video today." And I got like all awful direct. It was like he should still be asleep, but he was directly awake and really mad and angry, and I sent it all kinds of messages and pouty lips and bad stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And I was there and I was like, I should supposed to enjoy this, but I had just a big stone in my stomach.
Oh,
Like,
right.
oh, what did I do? You know,
Oh,
that was really
Jesus.
what did I do? What did I do?
Wow.
So yeah, that was one of those moments. And
I think a lot of us go through that type of emotional manipulation as well. That whole guilt trap thing, right? Oh,
yeah,
what do you mean? And then make us feel guilty for actually even having a life independent of them
outside.
and wanting to do anything that makes us happy, right? That's
Yeah,
such, yeah. Oh man. Okay, sorry, carry
yeah.
on.
And I was already like wired before, I think, to make everybody happy, you know. It's like a wiring within
Yes.
me. And so when he went back to the United States, and we did the whole green card stuff. He came in summertime before the whole stuff ended, because it was like halfway our process. He came to the Netherlands, and we went on to Barcelona, and there he really proposed to me.
Okay.
Like, let's get married. And my first reaction was no. I really was like, my whole body was no.
Right.
And I was like, Daphne, come on. Okay, yes. And I sort of like said yes, without thinking, why is my whole body saying no?
Yeah. Right.
And so that was another red flag. And then when we were there, that was the big difference. When I was living there, was like, I already noticed it when he was coming over for a week, or I was there for a week, you know. There was always this pressure on sex, always. The first night sex, the second night sex. We always, because we never see each other, we never touch each other, we never sleep together. And so in this whole little week that we see each other, we have to have sex. Like
Wow. Right.
picking up and sort of, how do you say that, all the lost moments
Right.
together in those weeks.
Right.
And that sort of continued when I was there. It was like he really wanted it every day, and I was just like, sort of like, but that's a lot, you know. Every day
That
I cannot.
actually kind of sounds like sexual manipulation and abuse.
Yeah, that's
Really.
the sexual immunity. Yeah,
And
that's why you said it's
abuse.
abuse, and that's why the other guy said it's manipulation.
Oh my God.
It is
Yeah.
depression. And it was really like 3 times a week. That's where we could settle.
Oh my
And
God.
3 times a week. And I just knew. And when we went to a concert afterwards, we needed to have sex, because after good times, you have sex.
Oh my gosh.
and and it was like
Wow.
after also like on Sunday, and we didn't meet up the three. Sunday was like, I already knew, oh, for God's sake, Sunday, and we only did 2 times. I
Oh my
already
God.
knew, oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God, Daphne. Holy crap. You
And
were just a little toy.
I said like, okay. And I was always
Wow.
praying to have my menstruation for a week off.
Oh my
And I
God.
was already like starting my menopause. So sometimes I didn't have my menstruation, and
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
oh. And then in the meantime, there was also other men I was meeting. So it was like, it was getting closer and closer from his side. And I was like, I really need to get out of here at
No
point,
kidding.
not really here. But there was this sense of, this is not good for me. This is not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that were all those red flags. And then I met one guy that I really just like, we clicked very well as friends, but he also was like more, he wanted more. And I was like, this might be my way out. So I was really thinking like, okay, another relationship, that might be my way out, out of this one.
Right.
And so I was like, in I think 1.5 years, just right before everything exploded, I was like in this whole manipulation thing, also from my side and from his side and from the other guy's side, into this triangle of manipulation, lying, silences. And I always thought like, why do you know this, and why do you know that, and afterwards, I think he also did check on things like my email, my
Right.
messengers, so that when because I always left my phone hanging around somewhere, and I
Right.
didn't have a password because I trust everybody.
Right.
So, and I think he just even checked those things out. So he had like a core of jealousy that also was there.
Right.
And me being like, feeling really trapped into like a cold, it was more a golden cage, because I could do what I liked. I didn't have to work. I could just start and do all my creativity. I did a
Right.
lot of creative stuff. But that golden cage, actually, in the end, when it all exploded, yeah, seemed like pale and small. And
Yeah.
the price of sexual oppression is
Yeah.
is is really, really high in the end.
It sure is. It
And so
sure
there
is.
we came to the point that we were on vacation, and we were in a hotel, and I was already like holding off a little bit, like, wait, wait, wait. You want sex, but I really don't want sex. So I was like already like sort of making a space for myself, trying. And he just couldn't give me more days or 2 weeks or whatever.
Wow.
So the moment we were in a hotel, and I was sitting in the chair in the hotel in the corner next to the window, I don't know what I was doing, reading or something, and he just closed the door and he said, now we're gonna have sex. And it was like, I said yes, but I was shaking, shaking, shaking. And that was the moment that I really afterwards said, like, to myself, I said, like, I raped myself now.
Yeah.
I did
That's
rape
enough.
myself, because
Wow.
I did say yes to this, something I didn't want, because we were in the middle of nowhere. I could not go anywhere.
Right.
So I did say yes.
So,
But
and it's funny.
afterwards, I really felt like I raped myself.
I'm going to tell you something. It's funny because when we first got talking, you said, I don't know what to call it. If I call it sexual suppression or sexual whatever, it's abuse. It's plain and
Yeah.
simple. It's sexual abuse. You can't candy coat that. There's no other word for it. It's not sexual suppression or oppression or manipulation. You were sexually abused. This guy used you as
Yeah.
a sex toy, and you were literally that's exactly what it was. And call it as exactly what it is. You did not rape yourself. You allowed him And we do,
Yeah.
a lot of us women do that, Daphne. I'm not saying you're bad,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Of course, I'm never going to do that. But a lot of us women do that. I paid the price. I paid a high price for being bullied too, a very high price. And then when I left, I'm like, see you later, and then you try to regain your self-worth and your self-esteem. And so
Yeah.
so now let's move a little bit ahead. And tell us about, so clearly, obviously, you're not with this guy anymore. So tell us about
No.
when you left him and your healing. I want to get into your healing
Yeah.
because
Well,
you did suffer abuse. So talk us about when you left in your healing journey, please.
well, he discovered the conversations, but I think he already knew them. But he discovered the conversations I had with the other guy, and sort of exploded everything. And I was looking over that, and I was like, okay. I just felt the universe pushing me like this, Daphne, the golden cage is open. What are you gonna do?
Right.
And I was like, I'm gone out here. I'm so fed up with the whole manipulation. I did, he did, the other guy did, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going out. And after 3 weeks after that, 2 weeks after that, the whole explosion, a friend of mine in Netherlands said, you know that I have a sleeping bedroom for you, no? And I was like, yeah, you can stay as long as you need. I have a bedroom for you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy my ticket and I'm out of here.
Good girl.
So I just was so saved by the bell, because I was thinking like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, and then still thinking about, okay, I'm gonna maybe hook up on that guy. And then I was like, no, I'm flying out and I'm going.
Good girl.
And I went to the Netherlands with the idea in my head that I was going to do the Camino de Santiago, because I really felt in my whole body, I have to walk, literally have to walk away from this. I have to walk and walk and walk away from it. So I stayed with her 6 weeks, and then I prepared everything, and then I went off for the Camino de Santiago.
Did you do it?
In wintertime. I did it in wintertime.
Wow.
And that means that in summertime you have a lot of people, but in wintertime you mostly walk alone.
Really?
And that was so good for me.
Oh,
The
that's
first
incredible.
time, yeah, and that was first time that I really started to thinking like, what am I actually doing? Because you start with a group, and I was trying to keep up with the group, but my body said no. So my knees were falling out. I was like, all things, my bag, and I was like feeling my backpack of 7 kilos, which is
Oh my
really
God.
much.
It's like 15
Felt like
pounds.
100 kilos. So I was dragging myself the first days. Oh, and then you start in the Pyrenees. So I just like first days up and down, and knee broke and everything. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
what is this? I had to let go the group. So I did let go the group, and they just went on their own pace. And I just like, okay, I have to go on my own pace. And then I was on this really long red road going nowhere. And I like, first I thought I missed an arrow. I should have gone left somewhere. And then I was like, I cannot go on anymore. My knee is just killing me. I have to stop. So I just stopped and I checked. I was like, I'm going to call the helicopter and they have to pick me up because I cannot go anywhere. And there it was like, no reception. I was like, nobody on the road, no reception in the middle of nowhere, and I cannot speak Spanish. Okay, let me take a pee and I go on. So I went on, and then I came to a place which was a monastery, and next to the monastery was a little forest, and it had like beautiful stones, and stone was telling me, come and sit here. So I sat there. And then I had the reception, and the first bling were 2 of the guys I was walking with, but they went on and they just like, how are you doing? They checked on me every day.
Good.
How are you doing?
Are you still alive?
One, I want to stop. And one said, no, you have to go on. You have to go on. The other one said, if your body says stop, you have to stop. And I was like, but Daphne, what do you really want? And then one guy said, like, if you don't commit to the road will spit you out. And I was like, but I really want to do this,
Yeah.
And it was like at that moment, it was like I took responsibility for the fact that I wanted to walk the Camino de Santiago, but I also wanted to walk the path of liberation, like, okay, the path of truth to myself, the path to taking responsibility for what I did, but also leaving the responsibility for others, what they did. So I was like, at that moment on that little stone, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the road. Okay, universe, let me do it. Let me do it. Okay, so I picked up my backpack, and the last 5 kilometers of the day, I walked without pain.
Yay, that's awesome. I love that.
And so, yeah, I still had pain after that, but went less and
That's
less and
great.
less. And a friend of mine helped me with patches in my shoes, and that's sort of what I needed to do. So we did that. And then I walked all the way to because you stop in Santiago de Compostela is really the end. Many people do,
Okay.
but you can walk on 3 days more, and then you end up at the ocean.
Oh, wow.
And I walked up to the ocean in 3 days. And I was
Wow.
sitting there and I was looking there at the rubble of the stones going into the water. And I was looking over the ocean and I was like, I'm never, ever going to cross that ocean again. I
That's
was like,
awesome.
there is a beautiful guy over there, but everything I need is behind me. And that is Europe. I am European like that, what I need is there. That was really what I felt. So that was,
Nice.
after the Camino, I went back to the Netherlands. And then everybody said to me, you will find a job for you. We're going to find you a new an apartment to live. And we're going to have to do this and this and this and find you a car. And I'm like, no, 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 no. No, I don't want this other golden cage again. I want to be a pilgrim a little bit longer.
Right.
So I just was like, but how am I fucking gonna do that pilgrim a little longer with no money
Mm-hmm.
or not so many, not so much. So that's what I signed it up for, woofing and work away. And I
Oh,
found
okay.
volunteering places in Spain, but I went back to Spain and I found volunteering places there, and
Nice.
I just like, okay, which places do I want to go, and what sounds like a life that I might like to live, because I was so
Nice.
lost. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
what do I really want?
So we can safely say that walking the Camino was a huge monumental in your healing journey then. I mean, that was like the catalyst to Daphne taking back control of her life and
Yeah,
really just opening up and going, okay, I see what is not good for me. And you just completely let it go and
yeah,
moved forward full steam ahead into what brought your heart, like you almost, it's almost like you actually listened to yourself this time, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you listened to your intuition and you listened to your gut, and your gut said no, 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 over here, yes, there, no, there.
There,
And you're just kind of like, yes, okay. That's amazing. So we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon, but what other kind of things did you do to heal from I mean, especially when we're trying
because
to rebuild our self-esteem and our self-worth, we have to rebuild all those things, right? So what other kind of things did you do to help you on your healing journey?
being at these volunteering places was very good, because you had like every 2 months I had other person to talk to. So you do the whole story again, and you get other responses, other visions. And that was really rich, because it makes you have like a more 360
Yeah,
degree vision.
yeah.
But I really, really noticed that I still had this sexual wound. And I really want to tell this. So I hope we still have a little bit of
Yeah,
time.
no, please do.
Because I still had this sexually wound. I knew that because I was still to guys that say, I like you, Daphne. Do we
Right,
have sex? I still said, okay.
right.
And the morning after, I was like, no, I don't know if I'm still okay with this. So I was like, the idea of being like I thought I would find my sexual spark back, because I totally lost my sexual spark.
Sure.
By being a wild woman, and a wild woman has sex with everybody like that. So I just said yes, 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 and I'm like, no, this is not the road for me. So then a friend of mine said, you have to have a tantric massage, and that will bring you your sexual balance back, because a
Ah,
tantric massage is just very sensual, but there's nothing sexual.
right.
So she gave me a card of her friend. She's like, here, this guy gives sexual tantric massages. And so I talked to the guy, and he said like, oh yeah, yeah, let's do that. So we made an appointment, and it was beautiful, beautiful moment to have like a massage like that from a guy, you know.
Right.
It was
Right.
like so sensual. So afterwards I was like, whew, what a healing happened here, you know. I went down, because it was in the house of my friend. So I went down and grabbed me a tea, and I went up, and the whole scene changed. The whole scene
Wow.
changed
Really?
into sex. And again, I was like, at, that night I couldn't sleep, because I was like feeling all kinds of pieces of myself leaving. And I was like, Daphne, you did say yes again to something that you didn't. After this whole thing, that beautiful sensual moment, it just got ruined by that. And I sort of fell into a silence, such a deep, deep, I can still get emotional of it,
Right.
silence. And I was like, this is not good. If I cannot get over this, I cannot find myself back the way I really want to be, no? And so the morning after, we drank a coffee, and I felt like so, I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak to him. I couldn't speak to nobody. The day after, a friend from the Netherlands, a friend that offered me the bedroom, came over for a 5 days vacation. And I was like, okay, now I have to speak to her, you know. So it was good. It was good to have her, so to get my head out of it. But afterwards, I have to come back to the silence. And a friend of a friend of a friend, she dragged me to some sort of spiritual place. And there the guy gave every week he gave like sound massages with those crystal balls.
Yes.
And he had a woman, his wife read Ashaktic records,
Oh, nice.
and did do she gave you Bach, Bluesem, all kinds of stuff, color therapy, Reiki. She had like a whole bunch in her backpack to help you. So I went to her, and she read my Shaktic records, and we found out that my sexual wound was actually a wound from my grandma that
Wow.
I still carried with me. And
Wow.
she said, like, you have to swim in very cold mountain water for a month every day,
What?
because because the silence made that my womb, I felt my womb, I didn't feel my womb at all. My womb was a black hole. It was a black hole.
Right.
And so she said, like, in order to ignite that fire again, you have to get cold from the outside so you can feel your heat from the inside again. So I had a beautiful, beautiful spot, because of the volunteer place where I was working at that moment. I had this beautiful spot where after, just right before sundown, I went to swim there, and just 5 minutes, and it was good, you know. I did. And I was already healing, but it was still not quite good. I met a guy there too at that volunteering. Was an awful guy, but that was also the moment that I did see all the manipulation that was on me, has been on me, which made that I could let go of that guilt of
Right.
feeling bad, because that he was doing all the tricks my
Yeah.
ex used to do. And I
Yeah.
was like, but that doesn't work anymore. So
Yay.
I
Good
was
for
already
you.
happy
That's
that was
growth
work.
right there.
But the sexual part was still like itching, and that grandmother wound was itching. So by somebody who really was disappointed in me, actually. He brought me to a shamanic woman who did a family constellation, but only with the three of us. So we did a family constellation with only the three of us. And we went back to that moment. And what we found out is that I knew the story, but the fact that my grandma was not supposed to be pregnant anymore, but my grandpa still wanted a baby, extra baby. But the medical people said to my grandma, you will probably not survive another pregnancy.
Wow.
But my grandpa still wanted another boy. So she got pregnant for the fourth time. But in her head, and that's what kind of came out of the shamanic constellation we did, was that she sort of had lived 9 months pregnant with the idea of dying.
Wow.
And she also told me, like, don't forget, the womb is like a computer. The womb records everything. It records how the sex was, where the sex was, how long it was, if it was good, if the emotions were okay, that sort of stuff. And because my mother was in her womb by that moment, also my little tiny egg was already in my mom. So she said, like, the whole energy of that moment is in three persons. It's in your grandma, it's already in your mama as a little baby,
Right.
and it's in you too, because you're part of your mom.
Right.
So it was like, then we just sort of healed that, and it's still going on. It's really beautiful, because the healing is still going on. But it was like very opening up for me to put that, and the fact that the womb records everything, that sticked with me so much.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
No. And that was really, yeah, I didn't know it either.
Right.
And I do believe it. And then I was like, okay, how do I want my womb to be? And I was like, it's a little temple. I want to have flowers in there, and it should smell like roses, and it's like a lot of lights and candles. That's my womb. So I just started like energetically cleaning, and that swimming in the water, and that's all helped me. And the thing is that now I am like, when my now boyfriend says, like, he wants sex and I'm not okay with it, or he had just 5 minutes before was angry, I like, my womb is with roses and flowers and think, and I don't want your dark mood now. And it was like, no. And now I can just easily like say to him, no, I'm sorry, but the mood is not right.
Right.
And so I don't let it in.
Good. Okay, we're gonna hang on a second, Daphne. We're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yep.
So clearly, and I hang on one second. I have to hang on 1 second. Oh, sorry, my dog went crazy. Sorry about that. So, silly dog. So we can say, I think it's safe to say that healing is ongoing. Because we go through, we have all these tools and we do all these things, healing is ongoing. It never ends. So if you had to, we're going to wrap this up, but if you had to give one piece of advice to a woman who is trying to heal from sexual abuse, we lose our self-esteem and our self-respect and all that stuff. What's one piece of advice that you would give a woman who's watching now, who has suffered through emotional manipulation and sexual abuse and all that? What would you tell her right now?
I would say that find a way to really clean and heal your womb. That's what I would say.
I think that's very important. I think a lot of women don't
Yeah.
actually realize that
No.
there's a whole thing going on in there. That's really interesting. Daphne,
Yeah.
thank
And
you
what?
so much. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Mhm.
And thank you for being here with us. I love your growth, by the way. I love the journey that you took, especially that
Oof.
the
It's a journey of 4 years,
that's
and
crazy. That was
it's crazy.
I love this the Camino. I because I've only I think I only know one other person who's done that, so I never really got like the details. But your story about
Yeah,
walking, it was pretty intense. Like that was awesome, and I didn't actually
it's really
realize
good.
how healing that really
Yeah.
is. It is really healing, isn't it?
It is really healing for a lot of people. I hear it
That's
for a lot of
crazy.
people.
That's
It's
incredible.
the walking. It's the walking. You only have to follow the arrows, so you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about maps. You just follow. So
Yeah.
walking and being alone.
That's
Yeah,
great. I'm
it
kind of
was
jealous. I want to do
beautiful.
that
It was a
too.
hell, but it was beautiful.
That's what I've heard. You're not the first person that said that, though. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time
so
and for
much.
sharing your story. And you do have, do you want to share your link? You have an Instagram account. Do you want to, we can
I
share
have an
your link?
Instagram and I have a blog. It's in Dutch, but it translates really well in English.
Okay, I will. I think those links are on your,
Or
I
on the
have them,
website.
right? Do I have
Yeah,
them?
you have
I'll,
them.
I will drop those links onto the Facebook thread here so people can go check you out. Sorry about my
Mhm.
barking dog.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much for being part of From Hell to Happiness.
You're welcome and thank you. And
Thank,
you have a lovely day too. And I'm
thanks.
looking forward to the next interview.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.